Alright guys, thanks for tuning in to iCup TV, and it'll be your awesome cast for iCup Fits here. So we're gonna have game number 2 between our VOD number 2 between 7X Inactive Team in series number 5. 7X it would be series number 5 versus 7X Inactive Teams versus the Reps Russian Fun Pro Gaming Team. Whew. Okay. So, the map will be on Jade. We'll have cross positions in this TVP. So, spawning in the top right, it will be our yellow Protoss. On Jade, it will be Reps Russian Fun Pro Gaming Team's Dewalt. And spawning in the bottom left, it will be 7X's Inactive Team's JustIce, or Ice is like I like to call them. So, Ice will be averaging 131, surprisingly, for this game compared to the 201 of Dewalt. Now, you know, looking at this, you know, since he's a pretty high-level player, if you guys want to know statistic analysis, go back to VOD number 1. That will tell you all the statistics of both these players. But I think he's not a spammer, and I think that's why. So 131 individual clicks that is significant is important. That is a pretty high EPM regardless. I mean, I spam and I get like 150. Or no, I don't even get 150. I get like 130. So, and I spam. So this guy actually knows what he's doing. Ice is a pretty well player. I mean, I've seen him pretty substantially a lot right now, and he's been in a lot of, and he's pretty active with his clan so far. And also looking at the amount of replays, I definitely think this is like a highly anticipated series that I just don't know about. But I'm flattered to actually go cast this game. It will be cross positions on Jade, like I was saying. Jade is like a flipped inside out fighting spirit, and by my opinion, a better version of fighting spirit. You'll have a reverse ramp. Your natural is pretty easy to secure with a pretty small choke. You'll see a lot of people, you know, put buildings up there just to wall it off because you don't want to have, you know, Dragoons, Marines, Hydra on the high ground. It's really annoying because they have a 100% hit rate versus the 50 or 25% miss rate. I forget what the exact statistic is. Hitting up on the low ground, going on the high ground has a miss chance. So you don't want that happening. And I can't even figure out why this guy actually is in the game right now. He could just be an observer. I don't know why. But we'll also be seeing Gateway coming up as well. And standard, so we're going to be seeing probably 2-gate Dragoon coming up. And, you know, I also quickly mention, the reason I prefer this Jade over Fighting Spirit is because I feel like this map isn't as Terran favored. No, I mean, statistics, like, show that it's Fighting Spirit's a pretty balanced map. But I feel like, you know, this big area is more susceptible, so the Terran can't nearly as beat a 3-base turtle as efficiently. Because it's near impossible to break a 3-base like turtle Terran in Fighting Spirit. It's just how it works out. So I like this map, and I've seen, you know, a good long macro games on this. It is a pretty macro style, and cross positions. We're not going to see that too much cheese. I mean, you're still going to be seeing a 2-gate opening, 1-gate opening if he wants to go for a fast expand. Either or is not a terrible position to be in, but really rushing on this map, you're not going to be kind of seeing that kind of two barracks all in that we saw last game coming out of Ice for sure. But we'll have to see if, you know, Dewalt's, you know, behind. I mean, he lost game 1 due to cheese. He went kind of for that gas steal, which, you know, is kind of cheesy in its own right. And in response to a cheese, you go do your own cheese because you're not going to win by macro efficiency most of the time. But we're seeing 1-gate so far. We'll be seeing 2nd gateway coming up as well. He's still not cutting any pro production, so potentially speaking, we might be seeing another. I don't even know. I honestly wouldn't actually know. We'll be checking for any kind of proxy, I guess, what's going on, but nothing really terribly coming out. And a couple Marines, so it looks like he might be doing that push with around 5 Marines with that, it might be that timing push with 5 Marines and a tank. Doesn't normally do too much damage, but I've seen it sometimes go in when they get siege mode with Spider Mines. You know, if they don't lose anything, they wait to push out. It can be kind of difficult for Protoss to deal with. I mean, it's really hard to deal with that. Sometimes Protoss is not normally used to that kind of aggression super early on, except for kind of like poking in and out. Like, you know, Protoss is a very aggressive race, and you want to be mobile with your units. You know, Terran's slightly the same thing in versus Zerg, but, you know, Terran is Turtle Terran in TVP, oddly enough. Unless you're going bio, which I seen 1 game. And that was because it was some pro, I looked it up, it was some pro player scheme where it's like, oh, he's going mech because he put like stuff to wall off in the front door to make it appear and even get spider mines, but then you quickly put down 4 barracks or whatever. and then get like stim, and you wait for a timing push to come out or something like along those lines. I've seen that. I don't know whose build it was. I feel bad for not knowing, but that is. But we do see 5 Marines, and we'll be seeing tank coming out. We will be double tank actually. So no Spider-Man out yet. I mean that's choice, but we've seen. I hesitate to go with that when you break away from this build, because we saw with Largo. Excuse me. We saw when that happened, it just he got wrecked. He went differently, but not to say Ice is a pretty well-rounded player. I have to say his 2v2 is not bad. He's also done some 2v2 in his history as well, so keeping that in mind as well, if that really plays a role in 1v1, but not so much. But we will be seeing a Nexus coming up as well. And so, 1 gate, Nexus, and Observer is coming up. We might be seeing support bait, but that second gateway really is kind of, it's really telling me it's leaning towards no, toward that. It would put him too far behind in the tech, especially if he's going to try to consistently go off a 3 gate. It just wouldn't work off a 2 base. It just, you can work off a 6 gates off of 2 base. But that's like all in, or for the time being, you're consistently not building anything else except gateway units out of that. But that's for also for scouting on any kind of drop play. But that's you could do 6 gates off of 2 base, but if you're getting observers coming out, you're getting upgrades, you can't really utilize that. And especially since the fact he's not even off of 2 base yet anyway. But Terran has done his own expand, has been mining for a short period of time, just started getting saturating off that, basically getting a missile turrets for a potential drop if that was happening. He does, I mean, I don't think drop play would really be happening, especially if he just brought up a Marine or whatever, because they've been pretty inactive this game. You need to, like, he doesn't, I mean, you see a good amount of Dragoons right there. I mean, it's not like he's not going to be kind of going for a kind of a tech path right there as well, but we'll be getting Observer in the main base. That might be also to snipe off any kind of Observer tech, which could be kind of annoying. But the one thing, though, a lot of players should be doing right now, not to say Brood War, like, these players are bad, but, what would make them really top of the line is, something that Day 9 always said, ooh, he might lose his Observer, and it looks like he will, and you lose that Observer right there. But Day 9 has always said, it's Brood War or StarCraft 2, it doesn't really matter. If you're gonna go something in your build, for example, utilize them. It's a simple thing. It's just utilize your Marines to something. Figure them out. Use them for map control. Use them to figure out when his opponent is. I mean, they're not really gonna do too much just sitting in your base doing nothing. They're really not. I mean, I feel like that he could be doing something with it. He could be checking for a 3rd. He has an SCV for that purpose, but just little things. He'll be also going for a pretty. It looks like he's going for fastest Arbiter tech as possible. And Templar Archives. This is not for any kind of like storm. He might quickly go into DT tech, but I mean, upon seeing these missile turrets, there's really no point to, especially in the main base as well. Turrets are going to be everywhere. So DT is probably not going to be likely. I mean, he could try it, but it's not. If he's scouted properly, Probe is spazzing out, by the way. But if he has, any idea what his opponent is doing, what Ice is doing, I wouldn't really see that happening. DT wouldn't be likely, but but if you guys didn't know, you need Templar Archives to get Arbiter Tribunal. Arbiter is the key spellcaster for Protoss and TVP, because when it gets to late game, mid game, Taze gets to a critical mass number when nothing can really engage in frontal assault, so you get Stasis Field, which is a pretty key upgrade. Which what it does, it makes the units invulnerable. It freezes them into like an ice cube. And they can't attack, but you can't attack them. So what you do is you get 4 or 5 of those tanks, maybe with 1 or 2 arbiters. So you get 10 tanks. You get the Zealot Dragoons in there. You might lose a lot of stuff, but then you're off of more bases, which means you can outproduce. That's the standard, like generic DVP. I mean a TVP. If you get, it's pretty much a lackluster version of it. But I don't mind TVP. I like it. It's not, I mean, I like pretty much all matchups. ZBZ I'm kind of sick of. PvP is okay. TVT I don't really see much of, but not to say TVT is not interesting. You see a lot of macros, sometimes slow games, but not bad in generally, but Terran will be taking an expansion over here, over to that third, which is not a scenario where exactly where Dewski wants to be, Dewalt, excuse me, where Dewalt really wants to be in here. Protest wants to be over a 1 base, but you know, I don't think it's game over per se for well, we'll see being Arbiter coming up, but I don't think it's game over for Dewalt right here. I think he's going for, just looking at the standpoint of Ice here, he's doing 3-base Turtle Terran is what I call it. I don't know what the generic builds are called, but you know, I just go off what I analyze and what I've seen through, you know, multiple replays, multiple 100 replays of casting, but, or multiple 100 or 100 replays, you tend to see patterns. Terran likes the 3-base a lot. A map like this, they can get away with it too, because there's only like this. There's only one entry point. I mean, this map. I mean, he has to spread out his tanks much more, other than Fighting Spirit, which is much easier, where he can 3-base Turtle and be active with his tanks. But this, you know, he has to sit back, you know, getting his tank upgrades. You know, and still no, I don't think he's even has in. But we will be seeing actually upgrade coming up, and Starport is coming up as well. And this is like unlike where we saw in the series between Lee versus Largo. He actually has his Stargate up before he's getting up his Starport, which is exactly what he wanted. And in response to this, he normally gets Science Vessel to get EMP to stop the stasis fields. You know, it's annoying if EMPs do go off. Sometimes they go off, sometimes they don't. Which, you know, it's not overly ridiculously overpowered. But you want to be careful though, buddy. Oh, but Zealot. But we'll be seeing that this fort is coming up as well. We'll be double expanding as well. But you know, can't really do too much. You know, I mean, if he wants to put himself out of position, he can go for a push here. I don't think that's what he's gonna do, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I could be very, very wrong. And cleaning up a couple more signs, more missile turrets. Still 0 upgrades for both players here. I believe I saw +1. +1 is about 2/3, so you know, 75% done, 80% done around this point in time. And do we see science facility coming up? No, I don't think I see it yet coming out of Terran right now. But Protest is a little bit ahead. I think he's in a scenario where he's gonna be okay for right now. I don't think he should engage right now without the upgrades he needs, especially with +1 about to kick in. He might not know that, but I think his best bet is just to sit back, continue to produce out of his gateways, and then he can occasionally expand. He's been macroing very, very efficiently, by the way. And getting recalls, so it looks like he might do a recall in the main. Might be the choice of that. He could go Stasis Field. You can see either or. You ultimately get up both, but it depends on which one you want to go first. I don't know if he got Stasis Field first, but just by the timing of the game, around 12 minutes and 15 minutes, you know, it looks like he's going for recall in the main. Also, if you guys didn't know, you can get, this is more of this build coming out of Dewalt right here. It's a faster Arbiter tech build, which is off of normal. I think that's why he's off of 2 base. Is normally why he's doing it. And it's normally to combat 3-base Turtle Terror. And I feel like it's a pretty good counter to it. Alright, in response to it. So you get up a super fast Arbiter that gives up more energy, but he's gonna go for it. I don't think going into 4 Siege Tanks and eventually you gotta be 8 Siege Tanks going in there. It's not gonna be a smart idea. Poking though, you're not being effective right there. Terran looks like he might be expanding to that 11 o'clock position over there. Might be possible, but we'll be checking for the bottom right hand expansion. He did put down the pylon, but gonna be annoying. Gotta put it on Spider Mine. Gotta be annoying. And probes, keep in mind, do not trigger off Spider Mines, which is good and bad. Oh, but he's gonna be doing a drop here and tank exploding on the low ground right there. Gonna be really annoying, but nice quick evacuation off that 4 o'clock position base right there. And it looks like he's just gonna go over here. Gotta clear up some Spider Mines at the same time here. Might lose his base, or you might lose mining for quite some time. Oh, actually, but will he be able to pick it up though? I don't think he will though. I don't think he's gonna be able to unsiege in time. But you know, to disable the mining, you know, not bad at all. But we're seeing 178 supply compared to Terran, which is at 149. So you know, Terran does have an upgrade advantage. He's continuing to get +1 armor, +1 attack. You don't really need armor as much on mech because they do the insane DPS mid game. Like you want these guys to do the extra 10 damage per shot cannon with the +2 when they're coming in here, because tanks are fragile as they are. I mean, they have +1 armor, but in reality they only have 150 HP compared to 180 of the Dragoons, which are much cheaper compared to the 160 Zealots. Even have more. The weakest unit that the Protest has for ground unit is because I was gonna say Observer's actually weaker, but you know to say tanks are pretty fragile units. That's why Zealots do a lot of good damage against them in general, and that's why they're pretty good. But Vulture's going to be kind of annoying here. I believe they're trying to attack from the low ground, but you're not really going to do too much as they do have that miss rate on the same time. But he will be expanding to that 4 o'clock, maybe. I feel like this is like the 4 o'clock. Maybe like that's 3:30, 4:30. That's like a 4:30. That's like a 4:30 clock. Yeah, 4:30. Around the 4:30. So not bad at all. And we'll be taking that geyser as well. So he'll be optimizing off of. We'll be expanding to that 11:30, I guess would probably be the most easiest way to say that as well right there. Or at that top left-hand expansion of the top left-hand main base, if you want to say that as well. But, pretty both passive, both players you're wanting to mass up. But like I've been saying, though, Terran's going to be one of 3-basing, and what we can see is he's 3-basing. It works. He builds up 200, which he's waiting for, or 180. Sometimes they normally push around 180 is what I've noticed as well. Not because I just saw this game, but, Protest is in a good scenario. He's getting so many gateways. He's off of 5, 10, 12 gateways, I believe, is what his count is up to right now. Double Stargate as well, and he's producing out of all of them. Keep that in mind. And he's going to be able to remax if he loses his armory. I hesitate to say this, but ZVP is not really... Sorry, TVP is really not all that flattering for cost effectiveness, but will he engage with that? Oh, if he got a stasis field over there. But didn't EMP go off? No, he doesn't have, but he doesn't have enough for stasis field right now. But those are the ice cubes that I was talking about, though, and as you can see, they're invulnerable. But he's gonna go for it. That is a lot of takes. What was stasis field? Is it 2 of his own observers? But will that be 4 less takes to deal with it? I think he'll be okay as long as he's able to remax fairly efficiently. We'll be getting up Storm as well, a couple High Templar, and I think. We'll have to push back here, though. Might be able to kill off a couple more tanks here, and we'll have to burn off a couple scans here at the same time. He doesn't have science vessels tech up here as of right now. I'm not quite sure. I don't see any kind of science vessels right here. No, he does. Excuse me, and I believe he does have EMP in ready for that. But keep in mind, though, Protest is still consistently off of 6 base, though, compared to 3 base up to Terran. And this is what you have to do in ZVT. Is I said every single wrong matchup this game, PVT. But quickly, like I was saying, though, Terran, this mech army can be the most cost-effective thing ever. Like, it takes, like, literally, I saw a game where Protest took every single base in the map, and this was on Fighting Spirit. But Terran's like, oh yeah, I'm going to 3-base, I'm going to have a 200 army and 3-3. But he had 3-3, this army, and he wasn't necessarily bad, he was recalling and etc. But he took like 3 gateway units, like armies, to break through mech armies. So I guess it works out, but like it's not cost effective. Like you have to like throw units away to break over this mech army. I mean, I guess in the end, you're spending. I guess the same. But EMP does go off on 2 of the arbiters, though, killing off the shields as well. Keep that in mind as well. So he only has enough for 1 stasis field. But there's really no point in stasis field right now. He needs to wait for a big clump of them, like over here. That would be a really, really nice one. That is around 20 tanks around, or 18 of them. I believe I quickly counted right there. But it will clean up these tanks over here. So I believe Protest is gaining momentum. Maybe start snowballing over here. But that snowball will have a complete wall right here when he runs into all those tanks right there. And they are at +2, so they're going to be doing 80 damage per shot, keep in mind. And still no +3 coming out either, but still Terran's yet to expand. And eventually, 3-base Turtle Terran has its disadvantages here. It's very hard for mid to late game. In general, it doesn't matter what build you go, it's very hard to secure bases in the late game. That's why you often see Zerg take, in the early game, is to take those risky thirds. It's just to quickly mine them out, because they're not going to be able to get them. Unless you do a completely 180 and completely you lose your main and then you're in a new main late game, but most of the time that doesn't happen. And that's why you see a lot, and that's why you see in ZVP, for example. I said it right this time. ZVP. That's why the Zerg will often take a risky third. Not to mention they need a third, but that's why they don't take it closer to the base because it's easier to defend. But we'll be following a couple of units over here. Not the best right now either. So has to be a little careful right here. He definitely doesn't want to lose these, but. We'll be pinging over here, but DT will actually be killing those off. Nice little ping for that, even though I don't have my own little designated pinger here. But will it be going? We're seeing at 199 supply, compared to 143, so definitely Dewalt's doing pretty effective here. Ice is, continuing to go off a 3 base. I believe I saw a CC coming up over here. Hasn't yet to lift it off yet, but slowly losing the map control. He only has up to like 2/3, and he's just have 4 arbiters, firing away out these plus 0-2 tanks here, and this is where the armor might be a little effective, as the arbiters are really bad with their damage. They only do 10 for disruptor can, but gonna have to be careful. Ooh, that will connect and soften up that army quite a bit. Softening up three of those guys, and continued production of arbiters, and I believe he's continuing to produce out of all these gateways pretty substantially, pretty effectively. Not doing another wave just because he's max, that's why. Oh, but we're gonna be seeing a vulture run by here, and this is gonna have to kill off this 1130 over here, and gonna be pesky, but at the same time it's gonna be moving in over here to the south side, and gonna be able to clean this up, and looking at target supply, 117 supply, and he's only gonna be able to produce 3 tanks at a time. It's gonna be very hard to get that critical mass of tanks again, like when we saw earlier in the game when he had like 18 of them all piled up here. That's when Protoss couldn't expand here, and surprisingly, I mean, like I've been saying, the Protoss has been losing 50 supply here and there, and definitely not being cost effective, only killing off 10 supply up there. And we'll have DTs. I don't believe the space will fall, but we'll have to see though. DTs are pretty good with their +2 and doing 46 damage per shot here, but we'll be scanning, and these DTs should be cleaned up. Maybe not though. DTs are effective, but I think he should be able to react in time to deal with it. I even think, but that is a lot of spider mines over there. At the same time though. Pretty hectic game, pretty interesting TVP for sure, and but I definitely think we're gonna be seeing game number 3 if I can find it. That's gonna have to be kind of killer here, but regardless, that's gonna be fun anyway. But this base looks like it will get fought for. He doesn't really care about it, which is kind of surprising. But at the same time, he will be putting down a Nexus. Manor Nexus, I guess. I guess he's just like, yeah, I guess he's cocky enough to deal with that right here. And here are the 4 arbiters to do a insane amount of damage, but I guess base rating scenario for both players. But this is a base that's stasis fielding the SCV. That's new. That's not normal. But base rating, Dewalt can deal with that. Dewalt can lose a base here and there. He's still mining off a 2 base. He's re-expanding down here. Well, Ice really can. He's gone for this 3 base pressure, and 3 base Terran is good when the Protoss doesn't know how to deal effectively. It works very good for. It works very good for like mid game. Up to the point, then you have to do something with your units. Either like make a drop. You have to do something to get yourself to take more late game expands. You need to get that map control, and that's why it's sometimes hard. Because you're sitting back in your base for so long, you kind of lost sync what to do here. We'll be putting down the pylon just to get the 2 DTs coming out. And we'll be... I don't know what's with that, but at the same time, we'll be coming in here, though. Will it be enough, though? That is a lot of tanks just kind of sitting over here, but I don't think he's even going to even bother stasis fielding all these things. No, he's got a stasis field, kind of useless stasis field. But, looking at the momentum coming up here, Snowball, we're seeing 149 supply to... whatever, so we're going to see 1-1 series so far. Hopefully I can find this next game, hopefully speaking, but if I don't, I had to say both these players had very entertaining games. We saw one of my favorite map, Destination, where we saw kind of a cheesy build, which I like to see cheesy every now and then, made it a short and sweet game, and quick game for you guys. You have to see some unique Brood War games, because a lot of them, you see a lot of generic, like ZVP, PBT, ZVT, CVP, PvP, TVT. You see a lot of like the same matchups, and they're kind of boring, and you see a lot of the generic things. So it's nice to see that there's a variation coming out for both players, which is always very nice to have in Brood War, because a lot of the time lower league games you're going to see a lot of that, and I tend to cast a lot of lower league games. Foreign Brood War, I won't say. I mean, like you're not going to see super high level foreigners compared to the Korean. So if you want very entertaining videos, I mean Korean scene's pretty much dead at this point. I believe the OSL or MSL or whatever still runs is the only like actual thing in Flash is now like converted to StarCraft 2, I believe, and a lot of the BSU I think even did that as well. So I was never a follower of the pro scene, so I don't really know much about it, but definitely nice to see that. So for fifth step of the game here, if we just go to statistics right here, as I just like to bring them up for you guys if you want. I mean, we're seeing 151,000 compared to 130,000, so we're seeing about a 20K difference here. You know, late game, I mean, that's not a super big issue. Even if you have a pretty close game, you see sometimes a 20K difference anyway. But, you know, if we look at the resources right here, you're going to see a huge spike coming out of Dewalt here. We're seeing 449, almost 50,000, so about a 5K difference of, like, total minerals spent. Minerals, minerals mined was nearly 10K over what we saw coming out of, Ice this game. And, you know, that's the problem. I mean, he's just not having enough macro to deal with that. And so, you know, that's what we see here. Units-wise, I mean, the only other, like, viable option here we're seeing, I mean, a lot more units. He lost a lot more units. I mean, again, there we're seeing the cost-effectiveness. He lost nearly twice as many units than his Terran counterpart. And... actually, no, I'm sorry. Ice lost... No, Ice actually produced 405. Actually, no, I'm sorry, the statistic actually proves me wrong here. He lost more, he only killed not nearly as many compared to, what, Dewalt, he only produced 252. But what I've seen, but, you know, the statistics proving me wrong. I mean, an analyzer, being myself, as a caster, I accept being wrong sometimes. So, thanks for tuning in, guys, and have a nice day. This is a nice VOD to record, and I'll see if I can do number 3, and if not, I'm going to go render these and go to bed, and I have a bath test tomorrow, so... fun stuff there, guys. Alright, thanks for tuning in. Peace, guys.